put you in a cage. Decided what your life would be. You do this the old-fashioned way. I kill everyone.
Welcome to BevanWorld Explosion Network's Westworld Aftershow. This is our Season 3 prelude thoughts going into the season episode thing before we get into the actual season. My name's Blight. Joining me after, what's it been, like nearly 2 years since it's been on? I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be almost, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Time goes like tears in the rain.
Well, when did... So they missed last year, obviously, but I can't remember when did it air in the same time slot in 2018-ish? I think it did, didn't it?
I think so.
I can't remember because Game of Thrones would have been on. No, yeah. Or did it? It was the Game of Thrones off year, was it? I can't remember.
It was, yeah, it was the off year.
Yeah, so it probably just aired in like the Game of Thrones early slot anyway. Yeah, which would have been like this. So it's fine. So it's been like 2 years, yeah, I guess.
It's been a while. Welcome back.
Welcome back, anyway. So all we're going to do today is we're just going to talk about the main trailer that came out last week, get your thoughts on the trailer, and then we're just kind of going to go over the main cast and be like, what do you think they're up to type thing. And it's this a little bit of a catch me up and see what we think's going on. I will say from the outset that apparently Jonathan Nolan in recent interviews has been saying that he thinks this season isn't going to be as like crazy, guess the plot, what's going on. Like he thinks it's going to try and like settle it down so it's just more about getting towards the finish line and like presenting what needs to be presented as we head there type thing. So I don't know, like, but I don't really trust him, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. From my impressions from the trailer straight up, it appears to be a lot more straightforward, and I don't know, I get the feeling that it's probably going to be the last season. But, as we all know, Westworld, who knows what the fuck's going on, really. Yeah.
So what were because you only just watched it for the first time before we recorded this. I've watched it a couple times. Because I'll say from the outset, I think this trailer is really cool, and it's been a while since Westworld's on, obviously, so like watching the show, I was getting, watching the trailer was getting me like hyped again. I'm like, oh yeah, like, I forgot, like they're in the real world now, like, oh, this shit. And then of course the music and the way the trailer like builds up and then it kicks into the more action set pieces and dun, 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 and it's like, oh, the plan's begun and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm hyped as. What do you think of the trailer?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward, or at least from the trailer. Like it raises a few questions, I guess. Like it shows Tessa Thompson and Dolores at the same time. Like, is she going to be able to split her consciousness between hosts or something like that? I don't know. It's going to be really strange to see how that plays out.
Yeah, so that's one of my like big questions going into the season. Who the fuck is in Charlotte? Like, because in case you've somehow forgot and need a like recap of what happened here, Charlotte was a human in season 2. We then find out that at some stage she was killed before the Bernard timeline, like the future timeline of season 2. And from that, in all of that timeline, it's actually Dolores in Charlotte throughout all of that.
Yeah.
Bernard put Dolores in her at that stage. However, when they get out of the park at the end of the season, Dolores then takes her consciousness out of Charlotte, builds her own original body again, and puts her consciousness back into her original body. So then, of course, the question is has she just like split her consciousness into 2? Which I'm like, I don't know if that's possible because that seems kind of silly.
I guess they are programs.
Yeah, they are programs, I guess. So you could potentially just have Dolores A and Charlotte Dolores going around, which is going to make doing this show really confusing in the coming weeks, where I'm like, Dolores and then Charlotte Dolores teamed up to Delory people and kill them and stuff like that. Because then if it's not her, I guess... honestly, my second option, as crazy as it sounds, is Teddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Because, like, to her, as a robot, I don't know, like, if you really think about it, like, does it really matter if she's like, oh, that's my, like, partner in crime type thing, and she's got this body, and she can use that body? I don't know, like, that's just, like, a crazy... the only other option I kind of thought of was potentially Teddy, or or something.
Yeah, I guess they could have not shown you taking his brain out after he died or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
well, she snuck out. I'm thinking I'm going to rewatch the final episode.
Yeah,
right
from what I
before
remember, like he dies when it's still Dolores. So there's all that time period in between that she could have, I don't know, done whatever.
Or like got his thing from some like backup program anyway,
from
like
the
main cloud computer thing or whatever it is. Because when in the final episode when she gets out, she does have like 4 or 5, I think, of the android brain things or whatever they are. So she has the ability to create that many people.
Yeah.
Charlotte's one, obviously. So then she has several left, or whoever's in Charlotte is one, and then she has several left after that point. Any other things stand out in the trailer?
It seems to be a lot more action packed. I think, at least, I guess it's the contrast from the old westerny type of action to, I guess, modern action where it's like soldiers in black clothes and automatic guns and stuff like that. I guess it's a lot more, I guess, not as unique in a way, I think.
I guess so. Like, but I mean, I do find it funny the show's called Westworld, but we're not even in the Western. I mean, that's funny. But at some stage,
we do seem to go back there because Bernard's there where it's all burnt down or something.
Well, behind the scenes, the set burnt down. Like they had a
they
had a fire on the Warner Brothers lot or wherever it was, and that the set actually burnt. So it kind of worked out that they moved the show on anyway, but then it kind of helps that they were just using the burnout set to play it into the storyline. And this
I guess it could have been abandoned from then. Also, the thing we don't know is how far in the future it is as well.
That's true. We're kind of presuming it's picking up pretty quickly after.
Yeah, because I guess the androids don't age, do they?
No.
And I guess we see the superfluous Hemsworth.
But they hinted that he's an android too.
Oh, true.
They had that whole moment at the end of the finale.
True. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I
guess so. Yeah. Well, then everyone that we see that we know that are reoccurring are all androids. So
at this stage, pretty much.
Because I forget what happened to Maeve at the end.
She got killed, and then she's on the beach, and then her buddies come in and see her. And it like hints that they're gonna like sneak her away and revive her.
Obviously, I guess the powers, the man, obviously like resurrect her and are utilizing her for her own purposes now. So
I don't. They reboot Maeve, but for her, I don't understand how for her to wake up in like say the head of
she was fighting just as hard as Dolores to be free as well.
So she's woken up in the trailer. She wakes up in this new place with, I presume, some head of Delos or some shit there.
Yeah,
presumably, new character we haven't seen before, and he's like, "Go kill her." But I'm like, but that doesn't really suit her narrative unless they've wiped her memory.
Yeah, that's what
wiped her again.
I'm thinking they're doing that way, or they put some sort of blockers into a program or something like that.
Which then I guess I would hope the storyline ends up being that Dolores figures out a way to break that or like fix that so she has her old memories back or something like that. Because I would prefer the storyline to be that they both come around together, because it seems a bit weird to have those two face out for no particular reason. Like to make Maeve the head figure fighter for the company that she spent all season 2 trying to like escape and hate and whatever else. That seems a bit silly to me. So turn her around. I guess then we've got the third. The only like kind of questionable flag is Aaron Paul's character. Like, is he a human or is he an android? And I don't think it really hints at either or.
I just from the trailer, I'm leaning to not, because he seems to be some sort of, I don't know, work on the docks or construction or something like that. And there's openly like working with robots that aren't skinned or anything like that. So I can't imagine a corporation would spend the extra money to like sleeve androids to be working with them when they've already got robots working there anyway.
Yeah. And throughout all of season 2, the more we learn about the bigger world at large, they did make it sound like, although they've got all the parks, they wouldn't have androids like that in the real world.
I guess it might even be the company's, I guess, IP, and they have it patented or something like that, so no one else can do it.
Yeah, so I'm down for him being thinking he's a human, but then then the bigger question is, why is Dolores teaming up with a human? Because her storyline really seems to just be fuck all humans, kill them all. So why would she team up with one? And because the trailer seems like she particularly goes after his character to be like, come join me. Like there's some sort of kindred spirit thing there. So
I guess it could be. Because I can't imagine there wouldn't be sympathizers for AI independence or anything like that. I can imagine he could be swayed into being an AI sympathizer because of kind of like the way she's talking to him about, oh, you have no real free will, you're just a pawn, whatnot. I guess he could go with Dolores, and then I guess if it goes that way, Maeve turn over to Maeve's side and like Maeve be the ultimate, I guess, good guy for the AI as opposed to the kill all humans route. Kind of a way of living in harmony in some way.
With Aaron Paul, like if he's human, he gets brought over or whatever, I guess that then just opens the storyline to being a like, instead of just being watch the AI like kind of go for it, then they're kind of like delving into like sort of modern you trust all these corporations of information these days, it seems like they could be like kind of
commentary on what modern life's like, I guess.
And what it could end up being potentially if we keep it going, I guess.
I guess that's the only way that I could see it going really, because I can't imagine, because throughout the first 2 seasons there's always been like subplots and meanings behind what the story's trying to tell, but then if this one just goes straight forward, AI independence, war or whatever, I can't imagine they'd be that straightforward about it. There'd always be like a sub-meaning, a hidden meaning or something like that.
I feel like there is, and also if this is the final season, which I'm kind of leaning towards it possibly being, because I don't think the show has it could last forever.
No. I think once it got into the real world, it's really on the home stretch.
The home stretch. And so if this isn't the last season, then I would say season 4 definitely is. Because I could see them being like, look, we put all this effort into the real world. We thought up enough for at least 2 seasons of storylines here, but that's going to be it type thing. But I really could see it going beyond 4. But if they are heading into this sort of storyline of androids trying to independence and get rights and take down humans, this sort of stuff, which we've seen in many, many things before. Of course, I would say Blade Runner is kind of the top of that totem pole for how to kind of do that without it just being a mindless action film type scenario. It's not like this show has randomly decided to do that. That's where it's been headed since Dolores started going. Yeah. So it's like that's kind of always been the storyline, and we've known we're going to get there eventually, kind of thing. And obviously, when season 1 ended the way it did, and then season 2 was Dolores just trying to get there, and now she's outside, and now the thing is, I don't really understand what her plan is, and the trailer doesn't really give you a hint of that. Obviously, you see lots of scenes in her being like, Aaron Paul's character being like, well, what happens if it doesn't work? She's like, well, I'll kill them all then. Yeah. But it's like, what is she actually trying to do? Like, is she trying to figure out a ways that they can live? It sounds like to me,
it's more. She started out for good reasons for, I guess, AI independence, but now she's turned into more of a vengeful kind of, I guess, avenging everybody as opposed to fighting for the cause. Lost sight, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's what season 2 very much showed. That
I think she's gone further down that path.
Yeah. So then I guess it becomes like, well, maybe not, because also, you got to remember, she was 100% there, and then Bernard shoots her, and now she's back again. So I'm like, maybe that whole like being inside Charlotte for like that period and whatever else. Maybe all of that, like she changed her plan somewhat and whatever else and whatever. Because that version that we watched of her up until the point she got shot was 100% just kill everyone, kind of blow stuff up. So maybe she's like, calm the fuck down a little bit now.
Yeah,
we don't really know because we didn't get much time
Yeah.
with that version of Dolores to like see how she's thinking in that moment because she was all pretending. Yeah. What do we think of Man in Black? He's of a wild card. Like, what the fuck is he going to be up to this season? Saving the fucking world.
He looks like he's in a, I guess, a mental institution, because there's one shot there where he kind of looks like he's in a straitjacket or something like that.
Possibly.
Well, that could just be not paying close enough attention, but yeah. I guess when he goes, I know what my purpose is now to save the world, I guess he's fighting for an AI independence now, or I guess it might be to kill. He's realised that the AI are actually bad for humanity as a whole and wipe them out, in a way.
I'd like to see him come around and turn into a anti-hero finally, because he's always been sort of on the edge of that.
Yeah, I guess what you what you don't really have there is, I guess, a standing antagonist. In a way, they have to build one up from scratch again, other than it being just in general the man, the corporations, the whatever.
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess it's Maeve, right? If that's what they're doing.
If it is, I can't see them going. I can see them trying to sell that as kind of a misdirection, but I can't see her ultimately ending up being the bad guy. Because I think she's arguably more sympathetic in her cause as opposed to Dolores.
Yeah. Well, people always had this theory on Reddit since season 2, like when it was over. There was that after credit sequence where it shows the Man in Black walking into like the destroyed area, and everyone reckons that's the end of the show or some shit. Like it ends up back there because his daughter's in there as an AI and all this sort of stuff and whatever else. And it never linked up to what had happened to his character or anything else in the park at that point. It was just like, here's a scene that's connected somehow. And people have always been like, I think that's like possibly the end game or whatever, and he heads there in his final moments type thing. So
I remember them hinting at it, but they didn't come out and say he was an AI, was he? No,
I mean they played around with it, but then we basically said that he wasn't, unless they were playing coy. Like I don't think he's an AI. No. I don't think they've tried to say that.
I guess if that was the final scene, that is a way for them, I guess, to continue it further, to take it back to the park in a way.
Yeah, well, I could see the show returning to its roots in its final episodes type thing. That something's there or whatever. Fucking Ford hid something there that they need to do to. I don't know. And then the last person that I had down is Bernard. Like what? Because you see him a couple times in the trailer. Obviously, you see him in the park. You see him talking to the Hemsworth no one knows. But if Hemsworth no one knows is a AI, which is basically what they hinted at, and Bernard obviously walked out on Dolores, kind of knowing that a war's coming. I guess if you want to like put it that way, you got to wonder like what's his ground on this? Is he just trying to play Sweden? You know, like
I think so. Yeah. He best for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, I'll work this out. But then, there's that where he says that thing to the Hemsworth no one knows that it's begun or whatever else. Like if he's an AI now and they're like on even like we both know that we're like androids now or whatever. You know, like are they like trying to work on the inside to help Dolores possibly?
Because as far as I know, they were never exposed, were they?
No, they're still good.
Yeah,
no one knows.
Same with Charlotte. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No one. I don't think anyone would know about Charlotte either. Yeah, so that's why in the trailer every time you see Charlotte like looking at robots and all this sort of stuff, she's gone back in. She's like, I'm Charlotte. Yeah, but someone pretending to be Charlotte, if that's Dolores or whatever it is. Yeah,
that's it.
So no one knows. It's gonna be. So that's where I guess all the twisty turny. I mean, they might not even reveal who the fuck's in Charlotte for like a while. It'll just be like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Figure it out later.
I guess it's a way for them to, if they wanted to go down that route of multiple timelines as well, you're not knowing when the Charlotte timeline or the Dolores timeline is, because you know they're both Dolores. If they never explain it, it's a way for them to do their their trickery.
Their trickeries,
Yeah.
they're what they do, yeah. I guess I feel like the first episode of season 3 will set the tone of like how much trickery and fuckery we're going to get kind of thing. Like if it's pretty straightforward, and even if I have like lots of questions, but I mean like straightforward narrative wise, I guess, then I'll be like, okay, so they are kind of settling it down, which I'm perfectly okay with if we're heading towards the finish line.
But I guess there's only so much you can do without it being a gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like if they're forcing it just to be a gimmick, it's like, don't do that. You don't need to do that.
Everyone, I guess, along for the ride this far is for the story, not the gimmick.
Yeah, I'm here to see the story for you, and mainly to see these characters. Like, I want to see what Dolores does. I want to see, Man in Black. Everyone, I feel like in season 3, you're here for the characters at this stage. Yeah. Season 1, you didn't know the characters very well, and also half the characters were androids, and it's hard to get attached to them as like quote unquote actual characters.
Yeah.
But at this stage in season 3, if you've got here, you are like Dolores is a character, not just a what's her like? What's her deal or whatever? She's like a fully formed character now. So you want to see that through. You want to see May through. Man in Black. You want to see him. I don't know, either die or not die. It depends on how you feel about him. I guess I don't.
Will they actually kill him this time?
Yeah. Will they finally go there? We'll find out. Anyway, that'll wrap up our season 3 prelude impressions thing. So each week, when Westworld is airing, you can tune into BevanWorld, where we'll be discussing the episode, breaking it down. It's back in a week by the time this goes up.
15th, I think it's.
Yeah, it's the 15th. Yeah, it's Monday. It's like 14th America, Sunday night, whatever it is. And it falls into that Game of Thrones slot, 11 a.m. or 12 or 11, whatever it works out. I can't remember now.
Something
on
like
Foxtel. So, of course, watch it there. And then come tune out and listen to us talk shit about it over here. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Later.